Breaking news tonight, President Trump declaring the coronavirus a national emergency.
By the end of the month, nearly 12,500 deaths related to COVID-19 were also recorded.
The city tops a 7-day positivity rate of 3%.
The rapidly spreading pandemic. The number of cases in the U.S. rising over 2,000. At least 49 deaths, all schools closing in a growing number of states.
There is no metric that truly captures the loss of the nation.
The pandemic has eliminated opportunities for our students to figure out those issues related to who they are and who they want to become, to seeing their friends, and to living away from home where a lot of this self-discovery takes place. We are a community grounded in hope for the future.
So I know this word is used a lot during this time, but I feel very isolated, especially with the rules that there could be no visitors, because we've been following that very closely. And also there's just nobody on campus usually walking around.
It's been really hard because I don't get to see as much of my friends as frequently as I used to, and I really thrive off of seeing my friends. So that social aspect was taken away.
I would just say like that day-to-day life has changed the most. I spend a lot of time in my room and I don't get to see everyone's faces on campus walk and stuff.
I've noticed that like you can't sit anywhere to eat, and that is a big change because freshman and sophomore year we would have people sitting around, you'd be able to see your friends in the UC or in the sushi place or in Panera. And now I don't see many of my friends because nobody can sit and eat on campus. And you can sit under the tents that they provide on Ball Circle, but with the weather, sometimes it's rainy and muddy or it's just cold and you can only sit with your family members in your unit, so it's still very isolating.
I think we're all seeing how classes have changed like really dramatically going into Zoom, and how that kind of has affected our learning. Especially for me specifically, my learning has decreased a lot because it's just harder to learn over digital personally for me than in person.
We haven't had a lot of events that can be more than 10 people, so we've had to be really creative with what we can do.
So since the pandemic, there's definitely been a decline in my mental health. Most of my friends and I've definitely noticed just like productivity is down. Being excited about doing things during the day has gone down a lot.
My mental health has definitely been affected by the pandemic. I've had a lot more anxiety just because I'm nervous about getting exposed, and like everything you do is a big decision.
When you hear about little outbreaks on campus, it's like you want to isolate yourself even more than you're already doing. So it's like when you're doing the most, you can't do more than that. I've been tested about 4 or 5 times each semester, and you walk in and you fill out your paperwork and you get the swab up your nose, and then you sit for 15 minutes. And it's very strange because you see a lot of people that you haven't seen on campus before, and normally everybody knows everybody on this campus.
It started off like I was really curious about it, and everyone was super nice. Everyone who was helping us out were super nice, super receptive to what we needed, which was really helpful. Being isolated by yourself is really hard mentally. You have a lot of time by yourself. It was really hard, especially towards the end. We got outside time, which is nice, kind of like prison, where we would have like an hour outside, but it was hard. I think in the beginning, I was really impressed with the swiftness that they came in to give us information, and communication I think was really strong on their part.
UMW I think did a very good job when we came back in the fall with delaying the move-in for 3 weeks because they noticed how other campuses were handling it, and I think that was a really smart decision.
As we're in it now, I feel like the university put a lot of accountability on students surveying other students for their actions regarding COVID, whether it's like parties or wearing masks and not hanging out. I think a lot of that pressure was put on students to make sure everyone else is accountable, which I don't think is fair. I have seen a lot of clubs / sports teams / like groups of people in general having parties, and the school has not really held them accountable. And it has affected me because I was put in quarantine because of it, even though I wasn't at those events or I'm not on a sports team or one of those clubs that was doing it.
I think something that Mary Washington could have done better during the pandemic was give us more mental health days for our spring break, because we only got 2 mental health days while a lot of other colleges got 5, and I think that's just a lot better for college students to have that full 5 days of mental health. I think it'll be a really big transition for all the students to go from mainly online classes back to fully in-person classes. Our mental health was not that great this past year, but I think pushing us back into fully in-person classes will be a big struggle for a lot of students.
I hope that it's more normal. I know that they've offered vaccines to all students, and I know other colleges have mandated it for next semester that all students that come to campus need to get vaccinated. So I hope we can do that too, so we can have more in-person things.
So I think with the transition into next year, they're expecting to be fully back to normal, and I'm a little curious as to see how they're going to do that, if they're expecting everybody to be vaccinated, but I still think there needs to be restrictions and they need to have guidelines for safety.